we don't want the same trauma or the same memories that we have faced. We don't want the coming generation to face it. So we are trying to voice for it. We're trying to advocate for it. We're trying to make people understand that.
We're all aware about what an incredible makeup artist you are.
So I think one misconception is that every trans people or trans women are sex workers, number one. Even in the movies, it's been a lot of time we've voiced about such kind of incidents as well. So I think these are the things that is very misconceptional about the queer community.
Greetings everyone, I am Nicole Kadel, and today I'm here on behalf of the GCM Social Club about to interview the incredible Mr. Anish Tamang with the main motive of raising awareness regarding the LGBTQ plus community. Hello Mr. Anish.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here in your podcast. It's such a pleasure to be here.
We're delighted to have you here as well. So before we begin with the questions, please give a brief introduction of yourself.
Well, hello everyone. Namaste. My name is Anish Tamang, also known as Divinish. I am Nepal's first body painter and also I'm a makeup artist. And yeah, that's all.
Okay, so let's quickly start with our questions. Our first question for you is, can you please share your personal journey of self-discovery and acceptance as a queer individual?
Well, going back to self-discovery, it was not very pleasant. It was pretty difficult because I come from a time where right now it's being very normalized about the gender identity, about someone's self-expression, about how they want to perceive their sexuality as. But back in 2010, 2005, 2006, it was not the same case. So definitely it was not very easy for our 90s generation to actually discover what we really want to do or what we really liked about it. So it was not very easy though, but I think time really heals you a lot and it kind of makes you stronger. I think it is very relatable to the Kadel Karkan's song that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So if that didn't kill us means we are very stronger on that part. So yeah, the self, to get there, it was very difficult. You had to go through a lot of trouble, a lot of traumas you had as a childhood. But I think with time, we really come across it, we really helped it. And right now, what we are doing is we don't want the same trauma or the same memories that we have faced. We don't want the coming generation to face it. So we are trying to voice for it. We're trying to advocate for it. We're trying to make people understand that gender identity, sexuality is never just between only a man and a woman that we've always been taught in our school. So yeah, definitely it's been a wonderful journey. Also, I would say I've learned a lot of things that have come across and made it much more stronger. Maybe I think the whole journey has made me so much stronger that I can really be vocal about it. Otherwise, I think I would just be staying up my home, staying in my room, just doing my own mess. But yeah, it really made me a person who I am, and I never looked back after then.
Our next question is, did you face any challenges while coming out and how did you navigate them?
Well, like I told you, it was very difficult to come out, because people wouldn't understand that. And I don't have any siblings, so I'm just the only child. So it was very difficult for me that I couldn't talk to anyone, And I always used to feel like, maybe only if I had a brother or I had a sister that I could actually share my things. Because if you go and talk to your friends, you were not really sure whether they're going to accept you or not because you were really afraid about losing a friendship. Then if I go and talk to some elder people, they might not even understand it because we have a huge generation gap. So it was very difficult to come out as a gay man or any individual. But like I told you, I think after 2015, the things have been pretty normal. Because for me also, when I thought of starting my career as a makeup artist, 2015, 2016, it was very difficult for me. I never thought that I would really put on makeup and post it on social media. I was very afraid about that. I used to see James Charles doing it since 2014 and 15, and I was really inspired. And I was like, oh my God, if only I was born in US, I could have done the same thing. But I think after 2018, things got pretty easier, I would say, rather than the earlier ones. So while discovering or while going through that or while, coming out, it was very difficult. But I think once you realize and once you accept yourself, what you love and what you are, then I don't think you ever need someone's acceptance. And you don't really have to go out and tell people that who you are or what you are, because people will love you no matter for your gender or for your race or for your color. If they really love you, they will always be there for you.
We're all aware about what an incredible makeup artist you are. So, was there ever a time in your life when you felt as if you couldn't pursue a future in makeup because of your sexual orientation?
I think for beauty and fashion industry, the industry has always been dominated by queer people, I would say, because you see a lot of fashion designers who are very feminine, and you see a lot of makeup artists because we tend to very up closely work up with the artists who are especially females. So I think being a makeup artist or being a fashion designer or anything would it was very easier because we were more seen on the feminine side. And I think that also kind of created a stereotypical that only a gay man are a makeup artist or a fashion designer, and that kind of started creating a barrier for the straight man because they started feeling that, I might also be categorized and labeled as a gay man if I ever come to join this industry. So for us personally, it was never that. I think it was more to the straight people because they felt like they were also being judged because of their profession, because this is just to be labeled as somebody that either a woman do it or like gay man do it. So for us, it was like pretty okay, but I think it was more problematic for the straight people.
I do agree with you there. So the next question is, what are some misconceptions or stereotypes about the LGBTQ plus community that you find harmful and misleading?
One thing is that all trans women are sex workers. I think that is a very bad label that we give it to. Not all trans women are sex workers because everyone is living up their own story. Everyone's having their own struggle and their own fight. So I think this label as a sex worker to all the trans women that normal people do give, because whenever somebody wants to say that they want to be a trans or they want to go through a transition, they start already saying like, oh, what you want to start prostitution and stuff like that. So I think one misconception is that every trans people or trans women are sex workers, number one. Number second, not all gay men are feminine. Majority could be feminine, but I've seen a very straight looking guy who turned out to be gay. So not all gay men are very feminine because we're always associated with, very feminine. I think a lot of time Nepali movie also depicted such kind of roles, stereotypical roles, where a gay man is portrayed as a very feminine who completely hits on straight people, who just can't just get his eyes off a man. So I think that's very misleading. I mean, like, who doesn't love a good looking man? Like we all do. If you're a good looking woman, then obviously a man will appreciate you. If you're a good looking man, obviously a woman will appreciate you. So appreciating and trying to be very intimate is a very different kind of thing. So I think the whole entire thing for the gay man or the queer people has been like, they are so much ready to throw themselves out to the other people. So that's a very misleading conception that I see even in the movies. It's been a lot of time we've voiced about such kind of incidents as well. So I think these are the things that is very misconceptional about the queer community.
What advice would you give to LGBTQ plus individuals who are struggling with self-acceptance or coming out?
All I want to say is don't look for acceptance. Acceptance is always inside your heart. When you accept yourself, you don't need any acceptance, because you don't have to go out and tell people that, hey, look at me, that I'm this, and you have to love me for that. You never should do that. If you're doing it, then you're actually with the wrong people. That's I always say. So always look acceptance for within yourself, not to any other people. Because if you start looking your happiness in other people, then you can never be happy. I never thought that I would come out as a gay man, but the moment I started accepting myself for who I am, then only I was very confident enough and I was very vocal enough to talk loud, to express myself more. So if you feel like, you have to come out, then don't take that pressure. Coming out should never be a problem. Do you ever find a straight person saying that I'm straight? No, right? So if that's not the case, then why should you do? So all I want to say is love yourself, find peace in yourself, and always be confident and always find acceptance within yourself.
So we are all aware about how normalized homophobia is currently in our society. So how can all of us effectively contribute to creating a more inclusive and accepting society?
I always feel like we have a very huge generation gap, A lot of time what happens is like the kids, the young generation of today, what they feel like, they want to one divine fine day, they feel like, oh, I might not be straight or I might be a trans or anything. And they go to their parents and they say that, okay, I'm this, I want to be this. And you can really never expect everybody to accept you that way, because we were never taught it that way. My dad, my mom, or anyone that I know, they were never taught about any of this. So the root has to be differentiated first. We have to start it to educate people that sexuality and love is not just between a man and a woman, and it should not always be about sex. It can always be about love. You can always use the word love. So I see a lot of time, and I think US, and there's been a lot of controversies going on about the drag queens coming to the school and teaching the kids about about the sexuality and everything. So people are taking it in a different way. It should never be that way. I think the choices should be given to the child from the very starting age, because I feel that when I was very young, nobody gave me that option. So no matter if I didn't like it, I had to behave it in a certain way. So if that freedom is given to people, then only they can accept for themselves. And, it's really important that we educate our family members and we always give them time. You can't just expect things to turn out overnight. It always takes time. So we got to believe in ourselves. We need to be a lot more patient. And I think we need to a lot more educate people about how the sexuality works, how the personal identity works, or how the gender identity has been working up. So the slow development is obviously happening. And I think the most important thing right now for us is to have patience, not to be very aggressive about our movements or even our expression. I think that sometimes can bring a lot of conflict itself. So we don't want any sort of conflict going on. So I think we need to be more patient. We need to be much more soft when we are, expressing ourselves. And we need to start educating not just to our elders, but also to the very juniors that we have, so that the coming generation will not have the same problems and they will not face the same issues that we have gone through.
How important do you think representation as well as advocating for LGBTQ plus rights is in our society? Because as you previously said, how Nepali films often mislead their audience and represent gay individuals as something they're not. So how important do you think such representation is?
I think the Nepal, we do have a vote for that as well. I think it's called Nepal Film Board. So they should really start censoring this kind of stuff, because I can understand if we are not so much developed on our filmmaking and our script writing, obviously, but these are the very minor details that we always tend to slip out of our mind. So I think it's really important that the Nepal Film Board, they start really evaluating this kind of movies, and this homophobic behavior should not be there, because once you start portraying and putting it into the general public's mind, it's just going to stay there. Because I think movies, the musics are one of the very influential things to a human mind. It really sets up us the vision that we see. So it's really important that the censorship goes up well, and even if they somehow miss it, then I think the social media is doing a very good job boycotting all these movies and calling out to all the producers and the actors in the movie. It's really good that they've been giving up a good response as well. So yeah, like I said, if you will not educate from the very young and the very root, the things will always get complicated. So it's really important that we educate, we vocalize about it, and we try to normalize things in a very smoother way rather than just going in a very aggressive or a harsh way.
That's all the questions I have for you today, and I hope that the amazing answers you gave us will change someone's mind out there and will also help someone else accept themselves for who they are. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you.